Hi, I'm Kerry. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors. We have a website, we have a Discord, and I try to invest in and advise my followers to invest into the future, to look into what's coming down the pipeline, who's going to facilitate the change, and how can I invest in them to grow with them. I'm also looking not for 5 to 7 to 8% return on my investment. I'm looking for exponential growth. So I try to find the stocks that are going to change the world that I live in and to make it a better place. So I pretty much focus right now on electric vehicles, on robotics, on 5G, 3D printing, and what's the fifth one? I'll think of it in a second. My practice is every morning I get up and I go to our Discord and see what's happening. We've got 9,000 people there who look at the stock market, very interested in the stock market, and they feed information as to what's happening. And so I find a thread that is talking about a company that has just filed with the FDA for use on treating of prostate cancer. And I look at the stock and it's exploding. This is important to me because I may have prostate cancer. I have a fluctuating PSA. I have an appointment next week with a doctor to insist upon having a biopsy. And so when I read this was important. I'm probably going to be the only YouTuber who ever speaks to you about this as a potential patient, a potential user of the product. So let's take a break here while you subscribe and ring the bell, and so that you see more information like this. And as Graham said, smash that like button. I'll be right back with you.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
So the announcement came this morning not from the company IsoRay. It actually came from its partner. Who it's partnering with is C4 Imaging. This is a private company. They have a process by which they use MRIs to basically target the cancer in a prostate. And that's their process. Now, IsoRay has a process called Sirius, which is a way to target the individual cells that are cancerous in the prostate, thus eliminating the destruction of the whole prostate or many of the cells around the cancer cells. So in essence, I think of it is rather than going after the prostate cancer with a bazooka, you're going after it with a BB gun, and you're going into there and you're targeting the initial cells. I found this picture here showing a dime and the size of the little rods that, through the use of the MRI, they insert these rods, and after identifying the actual cancer cells in the prostate, they insert these rods with an isotope in it that will attract the radiation that will kill those cells. In other words, you're putting a isotope on the individual cell, then you're zeroing in the radiation, and you're not killing all the cells around the cancer cells in your prostate, and thus it's a cleaner operation. So I looked at that and said, that appeals to me. So then what I looked at, and this was also on their website, was this chart here that shows all the various side effects potentially from and the benefits and the pros and the cons, and how this treatment relates to other treatments. And as you can see, it is better, and it is almost minimizes all the side effects other than the sexual one. What I got to find out, is that permanent or is that temporary? Because Kerry doesn't want to give up that part of his life. Okay, so that enlightened me. Then the next thing that I wanted to look at was, what are my options? Let's say I go to the doctor and the doctor says, Kerry, you have prostate. We do the biopsy. Kerry, you have prostate cancer. My normal question would be, well, doc, what are my options? And my research tells me my first option is brachytherapy, which this is a betterment of, because you're putting the rods in. The second one is just plain external radiation, where you create like an X-ray machine and you just bombard that sucker. Well, I have learned through my daughter's dealing with cancer, through my wife's dealing with a tumor in her head, this external radiation kills everything around it. So you have the risk of killing, not the risk, you know you're going to kill some good with the bad. That doesn't really appeal to me. The third option then is robotic surgery. Now, robotic is good because it isn't as invasive. They probably go up your anus and with a robot and destroy the prostate and then just suck it out, okay? I don't care to do that. I really don't. And then the fourth is stereotactic radiosurgery. And what I understand this to be is a 5 to 7 term treatment that is very costly and has some side effects, the biggest of which is creating secondary cancer. And what that means, and this is something I learned with my daughter's death, it started in her foot. Well, you in order to, it was a soft tissue sarcoma, to eliminate it penetrating the body, they amputated her foot at mid-calf. And we hoped that would be the end of it. And for 5 years, that was it. She was good to go. Had to learn to use a prosthetic, but the cancer was gone. But after 5 years, it showed back up. And it showed back up on her lung, just the size of the end of your finger. Opened her up. It was brutal. Took that out, sewed her back up. She was good again for about a year. And then it showed up the size of an apricot, and we just kept going downhill. She eventually died. There was so much cancer in her body that she died of septic blood. That's another story. So I'm looking at this. And the other thing you need to realize is some people have a propensity for cancer. It's in your genome. I don't have the option of having my genome sequenced and going in and finding that mutated gene that gives me the propensity for cancer and putting it back and correcting it. I don't have that option. I'm too old and I'm too far down the road. In the future, that will be the option. But for today, I believe my best option is brachytherapy, B-R-A-C-H-Y, brachytherapy. So I went in this morning and broke a cardinal rule, and that cardinal rule was you never buy a stock in the first 30 minutes of the market because there's too much enthusiasm, there's too much unrealistic expectations, and I was a victim of that. I actually bought it in pre-market. I paid, I think, $174. It's now down to about $150. But I'm okay because as I read this is not a profitable company. They have something that I know the consumer wants because I am a consumer. And I believe that if they market it properly and if they get the kind of publicity and they convince the doctors and convince me, they're going to be profitable, and I'm going to get an exponential return. As I said, I bought it at a $1.74. I can see that within 2 years this will be a $200-300 stock if it happens the way I think it's going to happen. Because again, genome therapy is going to happen, and we will possibly eliminate many of these cancers that way. But in the interim, we got to deal with what we got. And this is, I think, a good way of dealing with what we got. So I'm into it. I'll keep you posted. First thing, I'll keep you posted. I'll tell you what the doctor says to me next week and what we decide on doing. But I think the other thing what this points out that I want to really emphasize is the power of Best of Us investors. We are truly a tribe. Right now, we have about 90,000 subscribers. About 10% of them, 9,000, are members of the Discord. And we share our information. I want you to think about this. We are emulating, for the most part, what ARK Invest is and what Kathy Woods has done. She has a team of maybe 12 analysts who do just what I just did and make a decision. Collectively, they make a decision. I have 9,000 people who are feeding me information and feeding each other information and exchanging ideas. Investing is a very lonely game to play. You're sitting there at your terminal and saying, should I do this or shouldn't I do it? Whereas with Best of Us investors, and if you become a member of the Discord, you can go in and say, hey, I found this. Have any of you looked at it? And you'll get an immediate answer. And we break the Discord down into individual parts like biotech, 3G, 5G, 3D printing, the areas that we're interested in. And then there are some who talk about Bitcoin. I'm not particularly interested in that. But you gain the strength of a community. If you'd like to be a part of that, again, let me tell you one more time how to do it. Go to bestofusinvestors.com, give me your name and your email address, and I'll automatically email you a welcome letter, and I'll give you a link to the Discord, and I'll tell you how the Discord kind of functions. And if you run into problems, you just let us know, and Andrew will send you a step-by-step how to get in and make it work. Now, in there, we have a premium channel, and that is where you can see my portfolio. If you were in the premium channel, you got notified this morning with a stock alert, a buy alert, that I bought this stock. So you know what I'm doing when I'm doing it. You also get my blog. My blog is what I call Insights, and it shares my learnings that I don't share on YouTube, such as that I just submitted one, and I'm not sure what day it'll come up, that Amazon is going to introduce their autonomous vehicle, probably within the next several months. Now, many of you didn't know about that. I also wrote one about a company that has been recently approved by the FDA to manufacture replacement organs inside of pigs. There are 100,000 people who are on the waiting list for organs that aren't getting them when we can produce them in pigs. That is coming. That's the kind of thing you'll find in the premium channel on the Discord. So I'll let you know what the doctor says. I'll let you know what I decide. And the first thing, though, is we're going to do a biopsy, and we're going to find out if Kerry has this prostate cancer or he doesn't. And then he's going to be an informed, proactive patient. I'm taking control of my body. And I wouldn't have known that and this option if I hadn't gone to the Best of Us Investors Discord this morning. Okay, ring the bell, thumbs up, and see you tomorrow.